Hello to all my story lovers. Welcome back in Story Time channel. I'm Pallavi reading interesting stories for you. Today's story name is Lord the Creator. Let's go to the story. One afternoon, in the beginning of the history of the world, a very important and interesting event took place in the beautiful courtyard of the Creator. This was witnessed by Narada, the youngest of the Creator's sons. Let me tell you the story as Narad related it to me. Late one afternoon, I entered the great assembly of my father, started Narada. The grandsir was very busy determining the maximum lifespan to be given to each of the different species. The great patriarch, the father of all, was flushed with excitement and flood of benevolent love. His face shone with a rosy tint of joy, and the thrill of satisfaction danced through him in a gush of love. The Creator, in his boundless compassion and love for all, said, I think a lifespan of 30 years should be given to all of you. All those who are satisfied can now go to the world and enjoy their life. There was a tremendous hell job raised by the happy throng of the Creator. They moved away in a million different ways. Some flew, some crawled, some hopped, some ran, and some fluttered. The merry procession started off, noisy, joyous, thick on the ground and crowding the sky. Narada paused. Lost in the majestic beauty of this picture, I almost felt as if I was among them. Reading my thoughts, Narad smiled. Wait a minute, you weren't even there. When all of them had left the courtyard of my father's place, he continued, representatives of four species remain waiting, lingering humbly with their petition. My father turned to the first, smiled in a benevolent love, and in an affectionate tone, a rosy tint of joy and the thrill of satisfaction danced through him in a gush of love. The Creator, in his boundless compassion and love for all, said, I think a lifespan of 30 years should be given to all of you. All those who are satisfied can now go to the world and enjoy their life. There was a tremendous hallelujah raised by the happy throng of creatures, and they moved away in a million different ways. Some flew, some crawled, some hopped, some ran, and some fluttered. The merry procession started off, noisy, joyous, thick on the ground and crowding the sky. Narada paused, lost in the majestic beauty of this picture. I almost felt as if I was among them. Reading my thoughts, Narada smiled. Wait a minute, you weren't even there. When all of them had left the courtyard of my father's palace, he continued, representatives of four species remain waiting, lingering humbly with their petitions. My father turned to the first, smiled in a benevolent love, and in affectionate tone said, Dear donkey, tell me why you don't want 30 years of life. My lord, there is nothing you don't know. We donkeys have to carry loads all day without proper rest, sleep, or food. Even while carrying the load faithfully, if we tarry by the roadside for a mouthful of grass or a gulp of water, we get lashed from behind. How long can we live? 30 years is too long. Be gracious, O Lord, be kind to us. My father immediately replied, "True, yours is going to be a life of burden, and you will know rest. So I take 12 years off. You shall live in the world for maximum period of 18 years. Very happily braying long and loud, the donkey kicked its long hind legs into the air and ran along to catch up with the crowd. Who else was waiting there? I asked Narad in my impatience. The saintly Devarshi smiled and continued his story. Next, my father looked around and he saw a healthy bulldog looking up at him, its bright eyes shining with love and faithful devotion. Again, my father asked, "Why are you also not satisfied with the 30 years span of life?" The dog said, "Lord, you are omniscient. There is nothing unknown to you. My very name shows that I am opposite of God. I am but a dog. As long as I am young and vigilant, so long as I can bark and bite, hear and smell, I will be fed. But once I become old, I will be neglected, and I will have to move from one corner of the house to another, growling at my enemies, neglected and ignored by all. It is very sad. Lord, be kind to us dogs, please." The Creator thought for a moment and said, "You're right. It will be a sad life. I will give you 12 years. That will be sufficient." The dog barked in a joy, ran round and round the Jagatpita and bounded away, jumping over the low walls to catch up with the thrilling dancing procession winding ahead. Narad paused once more. I was impatient, but I kept still. After an interval of silence, which seemed like years, Narad said, "My father then saw a monkey jumping down from one of the trees in the front courtyard. It sat on its hind legs and, wiping its eyes and face with its hands, said, 30 years, how will we live our cruel life so long? We have to dance and make faces and entertain people so that we may get something from them. Generally, it will be some sour, unripe fruit or some hard nut. We have to jump from branch to branch, swing from creeper to creeper, and live on the top branches of trees all our life. When we grow old and lose the grip of our hands and the spring in our trembling legs, we will not even be able to eat fruits or leaves. Then to live long years would be extremely painful. Therefore, sir, please reconsider our lot." Lok Pitamaha, the great grandson of the world, sat lost in thought. He smiled at the silent monkey in all benevolence and said graciously, "You are right. You will be in a lot of suffering. I reduce your span of life to 20 years. Are you satisfied?" The monkey did not even stop to reply. Overjoyed, he turned and leaped up a tree, jumped from branch to branch, swung on one creeper, and expertly caught the next hanging creeper. He dashed down the tree in a hurry to join the noisy multitudes and their excited dance down the road of life. Thrilled with scarcity of creation, my father stood joyful and content, bathed in the glow of love, in the heavenly light of music which had sweetness of an exquisite perfume, soft and cool to touch, divinely blissful and serene. Am I confusing you? I can't help it. In no other way could I paint for you the attitude of fulfillment in the Creator at that time of creation? Had the story ended? Or was this one of the thoughtful pauses that Narada, the perfect storyteller, often provided for his listeners so that they may digest what he had said so far? I wonder, for I did not want the story to end so quickly. We were not alone, as we thought, started Narada dramatically. There came to us then two or three soft, hesitant coughs announcing the presence of someone still waiting in the courtyard. In the gathering gloom of the dusk, we saw a man standing in a humble reverence, his eyes sparkling with joy and devotion, the picture of beauty and intelligence. My father stood there, staggering inwardly at the sudden flash of a tragic realization that his best handiwork, man, is perfect only in his physical structure and not yet in his inner powers of judgment. He was sad at the general performance, yet happy to see the magnetic beauty of man, his noblest creation. In a surge of paternal love, the father of man asked, "What can you want? O magnificent man, 30 brilliant years you live, dynamically ruling over all passions and pains. Live a life dedicated to your highest conscience and come back to us. Lord, you are omniscient. You know everything. But I want to bring only one simple point to your attention. By the age of 30, I would have grown up, learned an art, earned sufficiently, perhaps just finished building a house for myself, my son or sons and their mother. I would have finished my struggle and would have just started to sit back to enjoy the fruit of my labor. At such a time in my life were to be cut short, would it not be the greatest tragedy, painful, unjust? 30 years, I feel, is not enough for us. Sorrow clouded my father's brow. A couple of blinding flashes of white hot disappointment blazed forth from his temples. Did he beat his noble brow? Or was it only that he smoothed a curl from his face? I can't say definitely, said Narada. The best among all devotees continue. The Lord smiled and magnificent in his rediscovered calm serenity said sonorously, Son, certainly I shall satisfy you above the beside the 30 years we gave you. You shall have the donkeys 18, the dogs 12, and the monkeys 20, all together full 80 years span of existence in the world. Are you happy now? The ancient first man, our initial forefather, in great satisfaction fell prostrate at the feet of the Father of all. He took his leave, and skipping and jumping, crying Hallelujah to the Lord and his mercy, hurried down to join the rolling procession of mirth and merriment, rushing gleefully to dwell in the newly created world. When he had left, the Lord sat back looking stricken, his head in his hands. Did he weep? Or was it only sigh? I could feel an atmosphere of melancholy and sorrow pervading the porch. Narada continued. I dared not interrupt the stillness there. His eyes fell on me, and he forced a smile to his face. Almost in a weary voice, he said, Man has yet to go a long way to perfect himself. Why wouldn't he bend himself to the wise will of the supreme? He asks, and the fool does not know what to ask for. He feels he is wise. But a more foolish animal has not left this courtyard today. But he will grow. And Narada, you must make it your life's mission to serve him and help him. Devotion to Naraya alone can save man from his seemingly intelligent stupidities and his apparently wise foolishness. And my father smiled indulgently, perhaps at himself, maybe at man, or was it to encourage me? I can't say. However, continued the great Devarshi, I found courage to ask my father what is the great mistake man has made now. After a poignant silence, the Lord answered, have you no eyes to see? Look, what a tearful stream of tragedy his life will be. Every man till the end of creation was leave his first 30-year happy, intelligent, and dynamic, and purposefully divine as he is intended to live. Then, for the next 18 years, he will live the life of beast of burden, whipped by circumstances, hungry and thirsty, carrying loads for others. From 48 to his 60th birthday, he will live a dog's life, guarding his earnings and barking at all, biting some of the serve his master and protect his home. Alas, then for his last 20 years after his 60th birthday, he will live the life of monkey, jumping from branch to branch of his family, making faces to make his grandchildren laugh, and in his hapless old age, eyes dim, teeth lost, jaws jutting out, temple shrunk, hair grown thin, skin wrinkled, muscles flabby, he will look like a monkey on his deathbed. My father paused, and this is what he wanted for himself and his species. What then can save man now? Narada asked his gracious father in the Brahmaloka. The grandsir answered, there is no way. Leave him, live in surrender to Narayana and live his life patiently, facing all his challenges and ever remembering Sri Narayana. Let him constantly chant in his mind, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. This Mahamantra can cushion all tragedies and he can be saved. This is the end of the story. Do you like it? Then tell me in the comment box and subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching guys. Bye bye.